Hi guys, welcome back to the Frugal Homestead. I'm Missy, and today I'm going to show you something that I do with my cast iron every year. Sometimes it's a little bit more often, sometimes it's a little bit less. It's kind of however it goes. But I know a lot of people seem to have issues with seasoning their cast iron skillets and stuff. So I thought I would show you how I do it. By no means am I saying this is how you should do it or shouldn't do it. This is how I do it. So one thing I use is a wire brush. I use some paper towels, and I use lard. Now you can use other oils to season it. Some people use the Pam spray, some people use vegetable oil or olive oil or whatever type of oil that you use, but I grew up using lard, and that's what I use on my cast iron. So let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to get started on these. Some of these I'm going to season, some of these I'm not, and I'm going to show you why. Let's get started. Okay guys, so first I want to show you what your cast iron skillet should look like. This skillet is perfect. Nothing sticks whenever I cook in it. Everything's nice. If you look at the bottom of it, it's pretty smooth. There's no rough spots. It's coated nice and black. That's what you want. You want your skillets to look like that whenever you get ready to cook in them. So that's what we're going to try and achieve with the rest of them. No matter how good of a cook you are, there's going to be times when things either get burned in them or the kids come over and cook, whatever. The nice thing about cast iron is you can always re-season it and get it back to where it was in the beginning. This one, as you can see, is not as smooth on the bottom. The reason it's not as smooth on the bottom is because we haven't used this skillet as much because it's smaller and it just really doesn't fit us as well. It has to be just me and Tony here and just like sauteing or something before we end up using this skillet. But we're going to re-season it again and try and get that to smooth out a little bit. And I'm not going to actually use the wire brush on this one because that's not what the problem is. It's just where it hasn't been used that much. So we are just going to oil this one later, and we're going to oil them all at the same time. So I'm going to set that one aside. My big skillet here, you can see where it has some rough spots there. That's where things have gotten burned in the skillet or whatever. So we're going to take the wire brush and I'm just going to scrape it off a little bit there, and that's going to smooth it out. And then whenever we re-grease it and bake it in the oven, it's going to re-season that area. See how the black just flakes off? That's what you want. You want to get that off. But you don't want to do it too much because you don't want to mess up the finish that you already got going. So I just want to fill and make sure that it's nice and smooth. I had one more little spot there. There we go. Looks nice now. Set that one over there. Alright, this guy. This one is something else. See, it's kind of rusted out. Got some gunk stuck to the bottom of it. But don't throw this away. This is still a good pot. So, all you're going to do, see how that just comes right off whenever you use the wire brush on it? Let me empty this in the trash. See, it's already looking so much better. A lot of people throw these away whenever they get rusted because they think they're no good anymore. They're actually good. You just have to re-season them. And re-seasoning them is so simple. We're going to clean this one up some more. See how nice that is now? So now all we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna rewash this. I'm not gonna put it in soapy water. I'm just gonna wash it with clear hot water and then dry it, and then we'll get to greasing them up and getting them in the oven. All right. So I just warmed my lard up just a little bit. That way it makes it easier to spread whenever I get ready to put it in my pans. We'll start with this little one. You can do it one of two ways. You can dip your paper towel in it, or you can just pour a little bit in it and then spread it around. You want to make sure that you get the sides coated really well and your bottom. Be generous, but don't overly do it, because we're going to turn these upside down in the oven like this, and you don't want the grease leaking out. Now I do put cookie sheets under mine. That way if something happens to drip, it'll drip onto the cookie sheet. Or you can put foil, whatever you like. I do not do the outside of mine. Some people do. I don't. We use these over open fires a lot, so I don't season that at all on the outside. Alright. Now this guy might take a couple times of seasoning for it to actually get where we want it to be. Just because it was so bad off and it was rusted, you might have to do it a couple times. And that's okay. It's a lot cheaper to do it a couple times than it is to buy new pots and pans. Give me another paper towel here. Alright, so while we're getting this done, let me tell you a couple tips. You should never wash your cast iron in dish soap like Dawn, because it cuts grease and it takes your finish off. There are times, however, I will tell you I do wash mine in it. But it's on rare occasions. We don't wash them very often in it. Whenever you do clean your cast iron, you always want to reapply some oil to it, and that'll keep it from rusting. Not to season it, but just to keep it from rusting. And if you haven't used it in a while, you should probably take it out and put it through the seasoning process just to make for sure that your coat is staying good. These are going to go in the oven upside down, and I'm going to put cookie trays under them on 400 degrees for 1 hour. After that, I can just take them out. You do not need to reapply the oil because it'll still be on there, and they're ready to use for the next time. Alright, I'm going to get these in the oven, and then I'll be back and I'll show you what they look like afterwards. Okay, so we left these in the oven on 400 degrees for 1 hour after we had oiled them. And I just want to show you how they turned out. This is the smaller one. This was the one that we didn't have to do anything to except for oil. And it looks really nice. Coating looks like it's a little bit smoother this time. So I think we're ready and good on that. This is how my big one came out. And if you remember, it just had a few little flakes in the middle that we needed to do, and we just needed to re-season it just to make sure that we kept it maintained. So it turned out nice. Very impressed how this guy came out. And I'm holding them like this because they're still super hot from being in the oven. But check that out. Look how well it came out. You don't see any of the rust now. It's started to, it's got its coating on there. We may, after we cook with it, we may see we need to do it again, but I don't think so. I think we're good to go. I just want to make sure I say again, this is the way I do it. By no means am I an expert or anything, but this is what works really well for me. The lard works really well for me. 1 hour in the oven works nice, and doing it once to twice a year works nice. So I hope that this has been a useful tool, and I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope that if you did enjoy the video that you hit that subscribe button and the notification button so you can see our upcoming videos. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.